Here is a country of great contrast.
Great civilization of antiquity.
A foreign country a step away.
All right, we're back. It's the Casa de Cavazos. Justin in Chicago,
The heck?
Ada in Harlingen, Texas, providing that Tejano connection to reality. How's it going? How's the week
Yeah,
on the
that was-
campaign trail?
It's going good. Very interesting. I've been meeting people. I interacted with the Hidalgo County Young Dems. I didn't really realize they were going to do a Q&A.
What?
I don't
did you
know.
do that?
Maybe I don't know. Maybe they said it. I don't know. But I went in there, got an entire Q&A that was recorded. It covered a lot of topics. I would say they hit almost every major topic you can think of. Those young people are incredibly impressive. Their questions were amazing. I did a good job of answering them. So it
What
went
was
well.
your most impressive question that you got? You're so impressed by these people.
I feel like the first one was about dementia prevention.
Mhm.
Like, what do I think about a dementia prevention bill and how important that would be? That was really good.
Well, what would you have to do for dementia prevention?
Well, now they've found actually that a lot of the factors that cause other illnesses are related to dementia or associated with dementia. So like obesity, smoking, like the typical really bad risk factors for most things. And I think it's also very interesting because we have a lot of dementia down here. There was an article, I don't remember where it was, that talked about how much dementia there is in the Rio Grande Valley.
I do get a sense that there's also a social component with a lot of people getting dementia, like folks who don't have that same support system, who aren't socializing more regularly, who are more isolated.
Yeah.
Like what are just like encouraging community, I think is helpful for that too.
Well, part of it is exercise too. And this area is not really well set up for exercise. It's so hot and there are not a lot of areas where it's easy to just move around and walk and bike. So I think that's part of it too.
Yeah, it was like in the high 80s and humid in Chicago, and I didn't really want to exercise outside. Maybe that's a me problem.
I mean, 80s and humid is bad, so I guess that's all right. What else happened? I worked a 24-hour shift, which I actually hadn't done in a little while, but I decided to do it since I need to make money at some point. The campaign takes up a lot of time as well as school. Unfortunately, though, I had set up a meet and greet the next day.
What the hell? Why?
I originally didn't have the shift on my schedule. And then I decided to pick it up because there was an incentive. And I thought, well, maybe I'll get some sleep and I'll be okay. It wasn't great, but I got 4 naps, 3 during the shift and 1 at home. And I felt okay when I did the meet and greet.
Who were you meeting and greeting?
Some local doctors, other people from the community, teachers. It was a meet and greet and a Q&A. So I answered a lot of questions as well. I think it's interesting that I really am not getting anxious about this because I tend to have like a social anxiety. Like I have to speak to people. And for some reason, I feel completely comfortable about this. Maybe because I feel so strongly about the things that I say. And I've spoken about a lot of them already.
On the pod?
The things that I'm talking on the pod or with my team. I don't know. Like I feel completely comfortable saying anything. Like anything,
Maybe
really.
you're just delirious from not sleeping a whole lot after the 24-hour shift.
No, but I felt that same way when I was with the Young Dems. I feel comfortable with what I'm saying. I feel completely confident that I'm saying what I believe. And
Yeah.
I don't know, like I also feel completely confident that we're going to run an extremely strong campaign, that I'm a different type of candidate. That's not really an establishment candidate. And I'm trying to make things different in multiple ways.
I think that sincerity will take you far. I think a lot of people will think that any bullet points that a candidate will have, any speaking points, the way that they answer questions are these over-rehearsed, dictated by the party type points. But I mean, if you feel confident because you believe in them, you know, if you were rehearsing from a script, honestly, like knowing you, you'd probably be more anxious. You're like, oh shit, like am I going to forget that thing that I have to say?
Yeah. I just don't think I'm a scripted person. Like I can't really be scripted. I'm kind of like Donald Trump, but in a way better way. I like to go off script for sure. In media prep, they want you to kind of say things in a certain way, but I'm not able to fully script. I think what helps me with the consultants is saying things in a better way. Like, for example, sometimes if you talk about education, you can kind of make it sound like the teachers are bad when you don't mean that. So refinements like that are very important, but I'm not a scripted person.
Yeah.
And like I was saying, on launch day, I was supposed to have several posts on my social media, like LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. And they said, oh, here's the post you have to put. I said, yeah, I didn't put that on my LinkedIn. That was too fake.
Sometimes it's too fake. And sometimes,
Yeah.
like, honestly, nowadays, a lot of people are starting to just put up stuff that they got out of ChatGPT or some AI thing, and it's super
Yeah.
obvious that it's not from you. It just sounds like this cookie cutter set of things.
Yeah.
It's still important to get people to know what you stand for, what your platform is, but how do you say that in a way that actually comes from the heart, that comes from you,
Right.
while making sure not
Yeah.
to forget anything.
Yeah, I think the consultants are still really important. I think they do help with a lot of things, the refinements, the connections, how to run a campaign. But I think you have to be the type of candidate that pushes back and says, I'm not going to be over consulted.
Mhm.
This is my campaign. I'm the CEO of Dr. Quaid for Congress. At the end of the day, I make the final
How do you draw
decision.
that line, though? Like, how do you know when you trust your instincts versus when you should trust the experience of campaign managers?
Well, I think I'm a very collaborative person, and I have multiple people on my team now. Some that are, did you hear that ping? Okay. So I have a lot of people on my team, including some local people that I've started to add. And so with my collaborative method that I use, I kind of listen to everybody and determine if it's the right way to go or not.
And then if something smells wrong, you'll just be like, no, I don't want to do that.
I mean, it depends who I'm hearing it from too. Like, I think every person has a different level of credibility to me. I have a lot of very credible people on my team. I'm not saying like, oh no, this person's not very credible. But you know how it is in life. Like, if a person tells you something, you know that you don't trust them for that particular topic, you're gonna kind of put it in the back of your head, but you may not act on that advice immediately.
Yeah.
You have to wait for someone else to validate
I mean,
it.
it's the same thing for music. If you know that someone only likes pop stuff but doesn't like anything that's rock, and then I show them like a rock track, like, what do you think? And they'll be like, that part was catchy. That's just okay. And I know that that's not the sensibility. That's not the area of expertise or the thing that you do and you like. So, you know, take anything with a grain of salt. Know who you're talking to for the most part.
Right. But I like to collaborate. Collaborate for me is good. I don't think it's a good idea in general to think that you know everything, because there's just no way. Like, even if you're in Congress, how are you going to know everything about every topic? You need to collaborate and consult
Donald
people.
Trump knows everything about everything until he doesn't know. Oh, I've never heard about that.
Yeah, he doesn't know a lot. And it's a problem when you don't know a lot and you think you know everything. That's even worse.
I feel like at a certain point of acquiring knowledge, you start to realize how little you know. You can know more than the average person, but in terms of just the sheer amount of unknowns and how deep people's expertise goes, you don't know anything.
Yeah, so that's the whole paradoxical thing, right? Like the Dunning-Kruger effect. The less you know, the more you think you know, but the more you know, the less you think you know. And we have a lot of Dunning-Kruger going on these days.
Yeah, it's okay to not know things.
I mean, you are not going to know things, and it's important to realize when you don't know those things and who to talk to or what to research.
Well, it's harder for people to actually research nowadays too, because despite some of the pushback against some of these AI tools in our search engines, a lot of people really like them. They'll say, oh, Google provided the summary for this thing, and it's often presented with bad information. It'll synthesize things that are just completely untrue. And a lot of people aren't going to even into the cited articles to figure out why that's untrue. And sometimes they'll just grab things out of context. They'll quote an article, but out of context, and the information, the way that it's presented, makes it incorrect. So that's something that we're fighting against today too, that people think that, oh, I don't know this thing, so I'm going to ChatGPT or Google Gemini it. And suddenly they think that they know something when the AI told them the wrong thing.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, this is a new era, so we'll see what happens because there are a lot of pitfalls right now.
Yeah. You're headed to Chicago soon. Are you excited?
I haven't really thought about it because things are so busy for me. I, Layla was shocked yesterday that we're going to Chicago soon.
What? You're going there for her?
She didn't know the actual dates. She's like, "Aren't we going somewhere?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, we are in a few days."
Are you gonna go to any of the Broadway and Chicago shows?
I don't think
Are
so.
you sure? You like going to plays?
I like Hamilton. I don't know if I like going to plays.
They got Beauty and the Beast going on right now on stage, and they also got like a Michael Jackson musical.
Oh yeah, I don't like Michael Jackson because of his criminal history. So I really try to avoid anything that's
Really?
Michael
Not
Jackson.
even like Thriller? Bad?
It's hard for me to really see him the same way anymore.
Is that just how you feel with like Diddy and R. Kelly and?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Which is really hard because R. Kelly has this song Ignition that I really like. And I start listening to him, then I start thinking, oh my God, the song is so good, but he is so bad.
I know. I feel like I know a lot of people who will like listen to Chris Brown and be like, you know, like I don't agree with what he does, but this is a banger. Same thing with Kanye.
Yeah, 3 times. That song's pretty good. Chris Brown.
Yeah. You know, maybe sometimes I try to tell myself that some of these hits were made before the bad things happened.
Somehow I don't think that's true, especially with Michael Jackson, R. Kelly. Chris Brown's thing is abusiveness, right? Is there anything else other than abusiveness of Rihanna?
Yeah, I don't know. That's the main thing. What about Kevin Spacey? Like The Usual Suspects, House of Cards? Would you watch Kevin Spacey stuff? Does the same thing apply to like actors and stuff that they're in?
I honestly think I haven't watched anything of Kevin Spacey's ever since we found out bad things about him.
He's making a comeback though.
I'm not
What about
watching
Mel
it.
Gibson?
I don't know anything. Oh, Mel Gibson's an idiot. Yeah, I'm not a Mel Gibson fan at all anymore. Especially after what went on Rogan claiming that he knew the cure for cancer.
If you knew the cure for cancer, then where is it?
He knows it. Ivermectin.
So is this a thing? Like people think ivermectin is like a cure-all now?
They have been thinking that, yes.
But it's for worms.
I mean, there are a lot of treatments that can treat multiple things,
Like Tylenol.
but there's no
And
actual...
drinking water. And getting exercise.
But ivermectin, there's no evidence that it cures cancer.
I mean, maybe they just need to do a study. RFK, you know, make America healthy again.
Make America Healthy Again is the most BS movement I've ever seen.
Yeah, I was just thinking about this recently about how we're talking about all these wins of, you know, using fewer seed oils and using beef tallow instead for all of these like fast food companies. Like you're still eating McDonald's. Like it's still not healthy for you.
Like that whole list about what they were doing, but it still was a bunch of restaurants and companies that make processed foods.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, where are the gains for getting people to exercise? Like, how do you make wins for increasing people's desire to exercise, doing a huge campaign instead of just putting them on Ozempic and making them eat beef tallow fries? Like,
I don't think it's as fun for them to think about that because that would involve like more public health measures, like schools incorporating more physical education and cities making their cities more walkable and bikeable.
More nutrition education, more healthy meals in schools, which...
Yeah, but note how they always try to blame like the wrong people in the RFK administration. Yeah. They're always like, it's the doctor's fault. They don't know enough about nutrition. They need to learn about nutrition in med school. That's the cure right there.
You do, don't you?
Yes, we do. Yeah, people have told me in the past, under previously deleted Twitters, that we don't learn anything about nutrition. That's why we eat bad. No, people eat bad because they're human. Food tastes good. Quarter pounder with cheese from McDonald's and fresh fries are good.
High sodium
in terms of taste.
Tamales.
In terms of taste,
tamales with all the lard.
I know it's unhealthy when I'm putting it in my mouth, but it tastes really good.
It's hard to get out of. But I mean, things in moderation. It's interesting talking to people from other countries and the way that they kind of experience things like drinking alcohol or having like rich things in their diets, but in moderation. In America, it's kind of just we have that all the time. You have people who will go into the doctor's office, and when they're asked how much they drink, they say, "Oh, a normal amount." And to them, a normal amount is like a 6-pack at night after work.
6 pounds could also be a way to determine
Just
how much
pounds
they
of
had.
alcohol.
Yeah, just weigh the box and see how many pounds. Yeah, it's an interesting topic. Like, I think it's also very accessible now. Like, I remember growing up, it wasn't that easy to get food like that. Like, you couldn't just order it.
Mhm.
You'd have to drive to the place. Your parents would have to take you, especially when you're under 18 usually.
Yeah.
So it's very accessible too.
Yeah. I will also say that when you learn how to cook and like actually cook, like you're not immune either. You can still make some like pretty. You can fry stuff at home. You can make some pretty fatty meals homemade. But you do get to see like, oh man, I'm putting like a whole stick of butter in this.
That's clearly healthy.
A whole stick of butter. Just put it on your skin. Just like the beef tallow.
Yeah. Yeah, it probably is good for your skin. Butter myself up.
Like the episode of Seinfeld.
I don't remember
There's
that
like one
one.
where like I don't know why, but like Kramer is just like putting butter on himself. I don't remember if it's him or George, but starts seeing him as like a turkey.
That's crazy. I actually want to do a Seinfeld marathon at some point because I've missed a lot of the episodes, but I don't have the time yet.
Did you watch the rest of Curb Your Enthusiasm?
I've watched all of it. Yeah.
How was it? I haven't seen any of it really.
It's so good. I mean, it's one of the best things out there, I think.
Well, it's over now.
I know, but you can go back and still laugh at it.
We'll see.
I will say about the fast food culture, part of it too is the social determinants of health. Like a lot of parents are overwhelmed at this point. A lot of times you need 2 incomes in the family to make it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have time, you don't have energy, it's quick and easy to just go to McDonald's or Whataburger. And it tastes really good, so people are happy.
Yeah, but it's not really that cheap either. I feel like at this point, honestly, if you have the time to get out of your house and go to a drive-thru and wait in a drive-thru, you might as well go to the Hot Bar or one of like the ready pickup stuff at HEB. Like that's most of the time going to still be a better health option for you.
Shout out to HEB because I love those meals. I like their bowls, especially the salmon steakhouse bowl.
Ooh.
I think it's pretty good. And yeah, it's a little bit on the expensive side, but I think actually it's cheaper than going to most fast food places.
Nowadays it's not that cheap to get the value menu. Like I remember when it was the dollar menu at McDonald's or even like the 3-2-1. Now all their advertising is like $4 and under for their cheapest things, but it's more like $4.
Does Wendy's still have the 99-cent menu?
I don't know. I feel like they changed it to like a $5. Like you get 5 different things.
Oh, okay. Should we go to find out? I haven't been there in forever.
It's okay.
Let me tell you how much these meals cost. Salmon Steakhouse, $9.36. That is a little bit higher than it is in the store. I don't go to the store anymore because I'm that lazy about my groceries.
But it's more substantial, right? I mean, sometimes when people go and get the smaller ticket items at somewhere like McDonald's, it's not really enough, like volume wise, for a full meal. So then they end up buying a couple of little double cheeseburgers, quarter pounders, fries, and then that all adds up. And by the time you check out, you're paying more than you would have for that thing at McDonald's. Sorry, for that thing at HEB.
Look how good this looks.
Is that mashed potatoes?
Yeah, mashed potatoes, broccoli, and salmon.
Wow.
It's good. It hits the spot.
Salmon is more expensive.
For $9.36.
Salmon is more expensive in the Valley than it is in Chicago.
What? Why?
I don't know. I guess we have a lake here. It's easy to
Does it
ship
have
in.
salmon?
No, it doesn't. I don't think so. I don't think you have to ship it as far from wherever they
Yeah.
farm or fish them. I imagine coastal West Coast, it might be cheaper than that, but every time I've gone to Texas and seen the price of salmon, like here, like it can be on sale sometimes for $5.99, $6.99 a pound, which is still a lot for meat.
Oh wow.
But meat's not that cheap these days either. You're kind of lucky if
So you're
you get like a good price for chicken or beef nowadays.
so you're saying that Trump is not improving inflation.
Meat's still expensive. Yeah.
Speaking of Trump and politics, what's going on with Epstein or the Epstein files? Because Epstein's not alive anymore.
Yeah.
So
Allegedly. I don't know. That whole thing is weird. There's just like all of these distraction tactics, like trying to refer the folks in the Obama administration for some kind of criminal investigation, just to try to get the heat off. Did you hear that? Like there was kind of like a no-show for some like summit about sex trafficking.
no, I didn't know about that.
And Pam Bondi was like, "Oh, like, it has scratched cornea, so I wasn't able to make it."
Why couldn't she make it for that reason? Corneal abrasion is not really a reason why you have to miss
Yeah.
something.
Not.
And if her eye was supposedly so like messed up, she could have worn an eye
Yeah,
patch or
yeah.
something.
But this is the whole hypocrisy of the situation. Like you're demonizing immigrants and trans people in order to like protect our children, when really like you were buddies with Jeffrey Epstein. Like, this is
Yeah.
a guy who would like walk into the dressing room of like Miss Teen USA. You know, like how is this the party of protecting children when you're led by someone who is now just trying to bury the Epstein files?
Yeah, there's a lot of hypocrisy. Not just that, they're protecting children. It's also just the fact that they'll say we can't afford certain things that would actually help people, but somehow we can afford investigations that don't make any sense, and we can afford sending a bunch of ICE agents out and military out so we can deport people.
Yeah. I mean, it's all a distraction.
Yeah. Yeah, but also like just not caring about the actual people when you don't want to spend 1 cent on people who are hardworking, who are caregiving, who need health care, but you're more than happy to spend money on
Yeah.
everything
You're
else
more than,
that doesn't
more than
help
happy
people.
to give tax breaks to the wealthiest people in society. And I feel like
Yeah.
we need to keep on reminding people so that they never forget that the tax cuts on the super rich are permanent. The tax cuts
Yeah.
on the lowest earners are not.
Right.
Like they expire in what, like 10 years? They get
I don't
phased
know
out
for sure.
eventually.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they don't care about people. They care about billionaires.
Yeah.
And themselves. I mean, I'm fine with billionaires. I don't
I'm not.
think that we should stop. Well, I don't think we should stop having billionaires. Like, I think if they created a business that resulted in billions, then that's fine. But I think you do have a responsibility to pay back a little bit to the community. I mean, because without the community, without the people who buy your products, you wouldn't have anything.
Yeah. But some people are still only marketing to the more well-off nowadays. I think it's gotten to a point where folks realize that even if they inflate their prices to increase their profit margins, they'll be better off only marketing to the highest earners and selling to them and making money off of them and not worrying about selling to the poorest people. There was some economic index that was released recently that was saying that a lot of economic sentiment, like the economic sentiment between the highest earners and the lowest earners, is at a much larger gap since it has been tracked in 2018. So what that means is that folks who are wealthier feel okay economically and they're going to spend as much. And
Yeah.
folks who are not, they're not going to spend a lot. They don't feel good about the economy. They can't afford the things that they want to buy. They can't even afford a nice to have, you know, a nice little treat, a gift for a partner even.
Yeah.
So I think companies are okay with raising their prices. You know, there was this huge clamor. Here's an example. Nintendo Switch 2 comes out. People don't like the price. People don't like how much the games cost. You know, they say, I'm going to boycott Nintendo. That's just too much for a hobby thing. And guess what? It's sold out. It's the best-selling product Nintendo has ever sold. Because there are enough people who are making enough money in that higher echelon of earning to get that.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know.
but signs aren't all rosy though for the economy in that way, because there is still a slowdown in spending amongst the wealthiest people.
Yeah. I think though that the Democratic Party is not running campaigns the right way, and that's what we're already learning, and we're changing the game already. You have to message this properly, and you got to talk to people.
Yeah.
Um, and it doesn't really necessarily work to just say, "Oh, the billionaires are bad." You have to say it in a way that resonates, and that requires a lot of time, and it requires not being on script all the time.
Yeah. That's somewhere where Bernie kind of loses me sometimes, because I am for a lot of the things that he is for, but he'll just find ways to just weave his script back into it,
Yeah.
which is really annoying.
I mean, it's hard because I'm sure that everyone who's a serious candidate or anyone who's in Congress has consultants. Like that's just the way it
Yeah.
works. And I don't think it's a problem. I do think you need that guidance. Like I don't think it's a good idea to just go out there without any professional help. So it could be that his consultant told him to do that.
Could be, but he's going on all the platforms to say the same thing.
Yeah, because part of it is you learn how to message discipline, right? You want to make sure to hit your points, and that may be what he's being told.
Yeah. And then how do you show that you're appealing to the people if you're just saying the same thing over and over again? But that's kind of the problem too, is like, even if you're trying to get in front of new audiences algorithmically, what ends up happening is that the content where you're appearing to these new audiences, while they may be new to you and to your constituents, they
Yeah.
get fed to the same people over and over again. So then it's extremely easy to see the pattern of just saying the same shit all the time.
Do you remember that article I shared where a person said, I don't really resonate with the anti-millionaire, anti-billionaire sentiment because I kind of want to be that person one day.
No, I did not see that.
So I thought that was really interesting because that tells you that sometimes that messaging doesn't resonate because you're not making it personal enough for them. So all they're seeing is, okay, these random billionaires and millionaires, I don't really know. I mean, I'd like to be rich too.
Yeah.
And if I get there, I don't want to be treated in a bad
Yeah.
way.
But at the same time, some of the structures that empower some of these billionaires and keep them rich and reduce their tax cuts and reduce social programs like Medicare or even public transit, anything that would allow you as a person who's not a millionaire or billionaire to save money is gone. It's reduced in a way that will require you to spend more on things and to spend more time doing things that will not lead you to becoming a millionaire or billionaire.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing that we need to tell people, right? And so that's why what we're building is also going to create a new movement where we're going to probably create our own firm at some point with consultants like you or other consultants from the Valley who have these thoughts and who can infuse them into other candidates.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be a good consultant. I feel like I'd just be mad at everyone for being out of touch. Because a lot of people are consultants, consultancy, not just for politics, but even for business. Like they go and they look for people who get like business degrees at elite institutions or people who even went to undergraduate at elite institutions. And a lot of people just, they're not in touch with people who are not like them.
Right. Well, these are good ideas, sir. Because I'm not against elitist institutions. I think that we should respect that. Like, I think it's great that you went to Stanford. I very much respect people who went to Harvard or whatever. But maybe you have to stop looking at that and thinking that that's the main thing. So you can bring in your people that you want to potentially hire for your firm. And sure, that's great that you went to Stanford, but I'd like to hear your thoughts on these particular topics. And if it doesn't sound like you know what you're doing and it sounds like you're out of touch, then sorry, it's not going to matter.
No, what I'm saying is that sometimes because they're all cut from the same cloth, they might not realize that they're out of touch.
Maybe we'll tell them during the interview.
Like if everyone comes from like some elite background, then they're not going to know that they're out of touch because they're only interacting with people who grew up the same way as them. They don't know how to talk to people who grew up, on like food stamps, under the poverty line, on CHIP, on Medicaid. They're not going to know.
But that's not really their fault. I think we need to do a better job of connecting people
No, of
together.
course it's not their fault. I'm saying
Yeah.
that it's systemic, and that's why like
Yeah.
consultancy tends to be out of touch a lot of the time. Like it's not their fault,
Yeah.
but it's just the pipeline ends up bringing in a lot of the same types of people with similar backgrounds.
Yeah. Well, I think we need the consultants, like I was saying, but I think we need to build a better pipeline, and we could potentially do that on our own.
Yeah. The whole Trump campaign tried to do outsiders for their thing,
Yeah.
but I don't know. There's a lot of turnover in there. Even the most diehard people are starting to turn on Trump too because of this Epstein thing.
Yeah. Well, I think what Trump and MAGA have taught us is that you can win without a playbook.
Mhm.
So we're learning that, but let's do it in a smarter way and build a smarter playbook.
Yeah. One that's actually for the people. One that's like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I feel like power corrupts and it's hard for people to actually stay true to their values over time, especially when they've been in office and
That's-
power, because at the end of the day, people can't let go. They'll just do whatever they want to be reelected. I mean, it's only when,
Yeah.
I don't know, like McConnell is not going to seek another term. That's the only time that he decides to start pushing it back against Trump is when he's no longer
Yeah.
going to be running.
That's why I've told people, like people that I know now, people that I'm meeting, that I'm friendly with, I want you to call me out. Like if you see that I'm not being myself anymore, I want to be called out.
I call you out all the time. just not even for political stuff.
I think we need to get away from this establishment culture.
Yeah.
Like building up walls, going through lobbyists,
Yeah.
going through a chief of staff. Like you got to talk to your people one-on-one to a reasonable extent. And you have to be okay with these people calling you directly and saying, hey, you're kind of not being who you said you
Mhm.
were.
Yeah. And the further you get,
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes, yeah.
I'm saying
Go ahead.
the higher up you get in the government, I don't know, it's easy to dismiss and not care. I mean, that's what Trump's doing, right? You could have, sometimes he would respond positively to things that people would say to him, but then when it comes to criticizing, then it's like, oh, like, well, you're not a true Republican then. You know, what's the deal with all these people? Like, why don't they just let the Epstein stuff go? You know, this is a hoax.
Yeah.
And then it's just starting to
Yeah.
dismiss people that, you know, were the people that brought you up in this whole thing.
Yeah.
That's a betrayal.
Yeah. We got to change things. I don't think there are a lot of people who are like me currently in office, at least at the national level. So it'll be interesting if I can get in there. I want to create a change and a movement so that we have representatives that actually represent you and aren't
Yeah.
scared.
Well, how would you handle being parodied or being criticized in a cartoon like South Park?
I would laugh.
Did you hear about the Trump thing with South Park?
I did not. What's going
You
on with
didn't hear
that?
about it?
I've been so busy.
Okay, do you know about the Colbert thing?
Yes.
So CBS is under Paramount, and Paramount reached a settlement, but with Trump himself, and they agreed to pay a certain amount of money, and then there's some conversation about like, yeah, like they're gonna give me like free like political ads and paid advertising and stuff. I don't know what the details are with that, but you know, the Late Show was canceled and will be done in May for what was called financial reasons, but a lot of people are saying it's political because of some of the stuff that Colbert would say about Trump.
Mhm.
But Paramount also signed like a $1.5 billion with Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the creators of South Park, for 50 episodes of the show. They just inked that deal. And the first episode, the season premiere of season 27, is really hard on Trump.
Oh, I gotta watch it.
So you know how sometimes, like, do you ever watch South Park?
Yes, I've watched it before. Like, what person hasn't watched South Park
Yeah,
at
but
some
do you
point?
know like how like whenever they have celebrities, sometimes it'll be like the cartoon version of Kanye, and sometimes they'll just like
Yeah.
straight up put like an image of the actual person's face on a character, like Saddam Hussein or like Ben Affleck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they're doing the latter with Trump. Like they have his face like on the character. He's like threatening to sue everyone, but then they also have the character like in bed with Satan, just like they did with Saddam, and they had the character stripped naked multiple times and have a very tiny penis.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean,
And part,
if they did this to me, I would probably laugh
Yeah.
also.
but they're also like talking crap about 60 Minutes. Like 60 Minutes will come on, covering like a protest in South Park against Trump policies, and the 60-minute anchors, they all look scared. They're like these protesters are out here, but we're not saying that we agree with them, but we're just saying that this is happening. We're reporting.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
Jesus appears in South Park while on 60 Minutes live giving a sermon, and the people like, on the cameras for 60 Minutes don't hear what he's saying, but on the sermon he's like, guys, just cool with the protest. They're gonna end South Park, so just stay cool. Yeah. And then the end of the episode is like a PSA for Trump, saying like, yes, he'll fight for America, but it's like a deep fake like fat Trump walking through the desert, stripping naked. But like this is not a cartoon. Like this is like a video realistic human, and then he's like stripping naked in the desert with this like tiny little penis out, saying that like
Oh my God.
like Trump made like his penis may be teeny tiny, but his love for a country is not.
Are they trying to bait him into talking about his penis?
Maybe, I don't know. And of course he has like the people in his administration saying like, yeah, like the unfunny show has not been relevant for 20 years. Like it has been relevant.
Yeah. They're very good about keeping up with current events.
Yeah. Well, have you seen like documentaries about how their timeline works, especially with current events?
No.
They're basically working on the episode until it's nearly time for release. So sometimes it's like a
Oh, wow.
week long turnaround.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So they'll do the voice acting. I mean, the creators, they do most of the voice acting themselves. So they're doing it like sketch comedy, essentially, like Saturday Night Live, but with animation timelines.
Do we want to take bets on Trump's next physical and what it'll include in the physical?
You think that the physical is going to mention the size of his penis?
I don't
Published
know.
publicly on the White House site? I would not be surprised by that, actually. Like, do you think they'll be like, yes, like with his erect penis is...
I don't
It's
know
15
how they
inches
would
long.
incorporate it exactly. They could just say above average. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't put it past him because this is a very narcissistic, strange person. I have known narcissistic people before, and I'm meeting more of them very recently, and they respond in very strange ways that actually look bad for them, but they don't see it. All they really see is how they're trying to harm you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Now that you mention it, I feel like I would take the bet that the next medical report will say something regarding Trump's genitals.
Yeah.
Like how do you... I feel like I would be surprised if they didn't.
Yeah, because instead of like seeing it as something he should ignore, he's got to prove now that they are lying.
Oh my God. What if he shows America?
No, please no. We don't need to know.
Have the first ever like presidential portrait of the presidential penis in the Oval Office.
All right, let's not go that far. I'm just talking about the fact that he might have his physician write about his anatomy in his next physical. Just to make sure that everyone knows South Park is full of liars.
Oh, I don't know. We'll see what the next week's episode is, but this feels like, regardless of whatever Trump is gonna come out and do and threaten to sue with like legal action and all that, this is still First Amendment, protected speech. It's a parody, right? It's not slander. It's just a parody. It's satire, which is protected speech. So legally, if Paramount's willing to sit through what I would imagine will be lawsuit coming up and think that they can win and just like pay the legal fees, I think this is actually very good business for them. Like, I think people will be like, oh, I'm going to subscribe to Paramount Plus now. I don't agree with it, but I just have to see what's going to happen.
I also think there are a lot of people who like
Yeah.
South Park. I feel like it
Yeah.
crosses the aisle. Like, it's been part of our lives for how many years now?
So over 20 at this point.
I feel like everyone knows what
Yeah.
South Park is. They've had some very interesting episodes, like the Martha Stewart turkey episode. They had a Barack Obama
They have the
episode.
Al Gore, the Al Gore climate change episode.
They had one about Ozempic.
Do you remember like when like the Al Gore climate change stuff was going on when he was going for his campaign? They were actually like kind of skewering the climate change thing, saying that it was this thing that didn't exist. No, so like when that was first going on, like there's the way that they treated it was that Al Gore was telling people about this thing called the man bear pig.
What
that
the
would,
heck?
like, yeah.
I need to see this.
And people were just like, dude, the man bear pig doesn't exist. But then like when they started realizing that, oh, like the climate is changing, then they actually had this like apology tour episode where like the man bear pig actually does come and terrorize South Park, and Al Gore's like, I told you guys it was real.
That's funny. I think that attacking South Park actually would open some eyes, because that's something I think most people have watched and didn't really think was political.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say it's apolitical. It's been anti-establishment for a long time.
Yeah.
So they will skewer celebrities, they will skewer politicians all the time.
Yeah.
And no one is off limits.
Yeah. So it's the embodiment of practicing their First Amendment rights.
What was interesting was when they were tackling Trump type stuff, they used a Trump surrogate in it. They used the Mr. Garrison character to go into office and have Trump like policies. But they're just like, they're taking the gloves off. Like, they're just like, no, this is Trump now. This is actually Trump.
Yeah, I don't know. It's all very interesting, and we still have over 3 years to go.
It was really funny.
How do we survive this?
We laugh.
We laugh, but then they take away our shows. What if South Park goes off the air? What if all we can watch is Trump propaganda on TV?
Oh, we'll just make our own shows. Do like little
like underground
guerrilla
underground
radio
shows on
yeah,
Substack,
or have like little like the kids, they'll make like a little cardboard box that has like a TV, you pretend to be the TV inside, and do like a puppet show inside those.
So that's the way back. We're going to go back to the old days. People become more creative, they'll read more, and they'll get smarter, and then we'll get back.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in a way, I think a lot of like theater is, especially new works, is not afraid to do that kind of stuff. So they end up well, part of it too is like the theater doesn't have that same permanence. Like, you can hear people talk about it, but you're not allowed to video or take pictures during it unless people get a leg of it all.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's something that you have to experience live. It doesn't get to be this thing that gets sent out and propagated virally through social media in the same way.
Yeah. So we're going to go back to going to the theater as well. So if you want to create a new musical or play, do it now. Let's do Hamilton 2.
I feel like they had said all they had to say about Hamilton. That show's like 3 hours long. What else do you need to say? I will say, this is a side note, I've been having conversations with multiple people, including people who love theater, that shows shouldn't be 3 hours long.
I think Hamilton was good at that length, though.
But with an intermission, I mean, maybe like a 90-minute, no intermission, people seem to enjoy.
Or I think you can make the intermission a bit longer. I feel like it's too short, the 15 minutes.
Wasn't the Harry Potter play super long?
I don't know. I've never watched it. I've heard bad things.
It was like it's so long you need like 2 intermissions. Like you gotta spend like 4 to 6 hours of your day going to that.
That's too much.
Just sitting down in a theater.
That sounds like you should have done it like a serial. Like you should have done a part 1, and then like a year later come out with part 2. The heck?
It's too long. And I've been involved with productions where it's too long, and that's always something that you're trying to figure out in the production process. What's going to get cut? In college, there was like a composer who for their senior thesis wrote a musical, but it was like
Yeah.
3.5 hours long.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
The heck?
like by the time you were in hour 2, like it was nowhere near the climax, and people had to sit
Yeah.
through that. And if you're a performer, you have to be there for the whole thing.
Yeah. So back to politics for a little bit. So we are going to announce that we are going to start a campaign pod pretty soon.
When's the launch date? When are you going to start that podcast?
It'll have to be after August 7th. So I guess we can come up with a launch date at some point after that. Probably be a weekly pod. It's not really going to tell you a strategy to a major extent, but we will talk about the campaign about once weekly. And I think it might be called Campaign de Cuellar per your recommendation.
Just keep the brand similar, right? We need a new
we could have a whole
we need a
spin-off.
new logo with your campaign colors on it too. Are you gonna have guests?
I'm not sure yet. I think it's gonna be me and my manager. I'm not sure about the guests. So we'll see. But I think it'll be interesting as part of this innovative strategy that we have. Old playbook's not gonna work. Part of it's gonna be accessibility. And part of it is leveraging things we already do and know how to do, which is
have
pod.
some guests on, including the people who are trying to start fights with you online.
No, some of those people, I'm concerned about their mental health, and I would not want them around me because they may want to assault me.
Yeah, it's true. It's crazy times. Seeing some of those comments online, they're kind of nuts.
They're not kind of nuts. They are nuts. They are nuts. I mean, when people start calling hospitals to verify whether you worked there just because they're upset about the fact that they're not getting paid by you or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so stupid because some of those things are easily verifiable. Like even just talk to a doctor and they'll know.
You can look up in the Texas Medical Board, right? Like you can see if someone is a physician or not.
Yes. I don't think there's my work history on the Texas Medical Board. I think it's on my LinkedIn, which I guess I could have faked. I don't know. I could have faked my LinkedIn. But honestly, I'm pretty well known throughout the side of the valley. Like if you talk to a paramedic, you'd probably get verification right there. A paramedic, a nurse who's worked the ER, probably most doctors that have been in the area for at least 10 years also know. So, I mean, stuff like that just shows how crazy it gets.
I can say that Data has served as a doctor. It has stitched up my own face in the ER at Valley Baptist Medical Center.
I've treated multiple family members in the ER, like Grandpa. I've treated Jared when he had a concussion. Yeah. So, I mean, that just shows how people like Trump can sometimes start to respond in ways that are actually harmful to themselves, but they can't see it because of the narcissism and how it's fueling them.
Also, I feel like some people just need to learn to, one, mind their own business, and two, to take the L, man. Like,
but I think it's a mental health issue. And that's the thing with mental health. I've seen a lot of people that they don't get the mental health care that they need. I think it's hard because you also sometimes have to have the self-awareness that you need mental health care. And if you're in a situation where you're not understanding that, maybe there's some delusional thoughts, you're not going to think that you need
honestly,
mental
I think
health care.
being on the internet does not help. It probably actually is something that can worsen your condition if you're just consuming a bunch of content or interacting in a way that is unhealthy. There's a lot of unhealthy internet behavior. And I think we might have talked about this last pod too. Like, it's not just kids. There's all this legislation to try to get kids off of the internet earlier, but adults are really struggling with their relationship with the internet and social media.
People need to go outside.
They need to touch grass.
They need to go talk to other people. Like, the internet really is a lonely place because there are supposedly a lot of people online that you can communicate with, but a lot of the communications are very superficial. And then if you communicate with people you don't know, sometimes it just becomes very combative.
Sometimes they're bots from Russia,
and
China,
that part too.
Vladimir.
Yeah, I mean it's tough. I think the internet does have a lot of positives, but the last several years we've seen the negatives
Yeah.
as well.
And it all kind of comes back to billionaires. Well, I mean, like that's the thing, right? When the internet was created, it was a dream. It was a dream by technology innovators to connect people, to share ideas and share information. But the people with all of the money, with the biggest financial interests, see a new technology like that and say, how do we monetize this as fast as possible? How do we just scale this out without considering the social impacts, the security impacts? I mean, that's why cybersecurity is a huge industry, because even when the
Yeah.
internet was started, it wasn't made for necessarily being a secure platform. It was just for sharing ideas
Yeah.
and sharing that. And it was such an afterthought that there's scams, there's so many like hacking vulnerabilities, and that's why like cybersecurity firms make bank, because the
Yeah.
internet was not made to be secure.
So you're saying that it's all Al Gore's fault? Because remember how he invented the
Wait,
internet?
What?
You don't
No.
remember that story? So somehow he said something that sounded like he invented the
When
internet.
did he say that?
I don't know. I think it was one of his campaigns. Yeah, it was a big deal. Look it up. Look it up. So then let's blame it on Al Gore.
The man thing.
Yeah, I remember for us, we started interacting with the internet in the 90s. At that time, it seemed really cool how you could do a web search. And it wasn't even a great web search. There wasn't much out there, but you were just excited about the fact there was a page that you could
Mhm.
find that kind of helped you with your research. And then we also got excited about
Yeah.
chat rooms, being able to just chat with people who were across the world. And, you know, back then there was nothing negative about it. Like no one was
Yeah.
fighting. We were just like, oh my God, we're meeting you and you're in
Yeah.
England.
Like it was so cool. You would be on forums and you would talk to people and
Yeah.
you try to share ideas and try to help each other out. There used to be a community, but it's not community based
Yeah.
anymore. It's engagement based. So algorithmically, what
Yeah.
engages people is disagreement and sowing disagreement most of
Yeah.
the time. But I will say, with a lot of the social medias too, I remember when I was a teenager and getting into like MySpace and eventually Facebook, it was not good for my mental health. It just like I could tell that I felt bad at the time. You know, like
Yeah.
you're just kind of engaging with, all right, so like who's gonna like this post? And you know, MySpace had this thing where you had like your top friends list, so people would like rank their friends, and that would be like a whole
Yeah.
thing too.
Yeah. So that can definitely harm your mental health to think, well, I'm not one of the top friends. And then you kind of perseverate
Mhm.
about that. So now we have a era of combativeness, people harassing you, people wanting to make money off of you or ruin your reputation in some
Yeah.
way. It's very strange.
Yeah, people need to get off the internet. I've been saying it for a while now. Stop talking to chatbots. Stop getting into fights. Go talk to real human beings in your community. I mean,
Yeah.
I think something that's really suffered too is like where in a city like Harlingen, where are the community spaces? Where are the public areas where you're going to be interacting with people that you wouldn't normally interact with? You know, like churches. You know,
Yeah. But not chicken, not churches chicken.
I mean,
To be
maybe
clear.
maybe people used to be in the dining rooms more often, right? Instead of just doing takeout.
Yeah.
You know, do these restaurants. But even then, like if you say like a church, if you have a community based thing, you're still joined by ideology in a way, because you're joined by religion.
Yeah.
Like where are you really going to places where you're meeting people who might not have the same religion as you, people who might not have the same beliefs as you, people might have a different background than you? I feel like maybe the mall. Maybe it was the mall. The food court.
I think the gym is a good place for me to talk
Mhm.
to people. Also, I think like when you have a kid, you can talk to a lot of people when the kid is in a sport. You talk to people because your kid is going to
Yeah.
the same lessons or
Yeah,
on the
but
same
as
team.
an adult, say if you don't have kids, if you're in that period of life where you're not planning on having kids, or you know you don't want kids, if that's what you decide,
Yeah.
like what is your
Yeah.
community space?
Facebook.
See, like that's
I
the
don't
thing. Like
know.
how do we create alternatives in person that are more engaging for communities. I know in Chicago it's interesting, and larger cities are really good about this, just having more festivals. There are a bunch of street fests that go on. Like there's a street fest going on this weekend called Wicker Park Fest, where they just like try to have local bands up, and there's food vendors, there's art vendors. There's just like a place where a bunch of people can interact outside. I mean, you don't have to interact with other people, but you're just around other people more often. I mean, it's hard to think about like what are like the keystone events in a city like Harlingen. Like, do they still do Blues on the Hill?
Maybe. I know they do market
that's
days.
Like what, 2 things a year? You know, where are your regular occurrences where you can just be around people? You don't even have to talk to them. Just be around them.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know. I mean, I have a kid, so that kind of helps with the social connection to some extent. And I work in a place where I get to talk to people, both the people I work with and the people that are the patients.
But even if these spaces do exist, like we're still able to be alone in them with our headphones and with our smartphones.
I don't know. I think people really should look for these situations, because I feel for myself, even though I'd rather stay at home and I'm totally okay with being home all the time, when I go talk to people, it's very satisfying.
Yeah. I mean, some people did a study in Chicago, actually, where they were talking to people on the train. And we talked about it. They were asked after the fact, you know, do you feel like your experience of being on public transit, was it better or worse for having talked to a stranger? And a lot of people said it was better. You know?
Yeah.
When you can interact with people, when you're not just alone, glued to your phone.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you feel like you matter.
Yeah.
You feel like you matter when you talk to another person, and that person takes a little bit of interest in you.
And it's easy to feel like you don't matter, and you're struggling to find a way to make yourself matter on the internet.
And that's why certain people want to matter by harassing people on the internet.
But you do matter. Everyone matters. You know, that's the inherent human value. But make yourself matter in your community. You know.
Yeah.
Be there for your family. Be there for your friends. Do things that actually improve the lives of yourself and of others. Get off the internet, dude. But, you know, if you need to be on the internet, it's probably because you're trying to listen to this podcast.
I knew where it was going.
Yeah, you can find it online, CasaDeCavazos.com, Apple, iHeart, Amazon Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. We haven't checked it on the mailbag. Have you looked at the mailbag?
I haven't looked at it, but I'm assuming I'm going to get harassed through it at some point.
Well, maybe we'll try to find some like non-harassment or actual thoughtful questions or debate that we can engage with in a future episode. You can follow us on Instagram, Blue Sky. I don't know if we have a Facebook. I don't feel like we should. I feel like Facebook is an evil platform, and I don't want to be on it. But you can find us online. Give us a ring, give us a chat, and look out for new episodes. And we're gonna have a new podcast coming at you pretty soon too. So check it out, and we'll see you later.
All right. Until next time.